think I'm ugly, I don't care. You think I'm dumb, I don't care. You think I'm scum, I don't care. Bitch, I make my money. Party till I die. With my chin up high. Fuck 'em all, fuck 'em back. Twerk like it's my last day on this earth. Let the dollar make a work. People always hating, but the more they hate, the more I work. Everybody say they're lit, but all they do is showing shit. In my street, like the slaves, bitches always kiss my feet. Stay out of my way, you bitch. I can deal with your fake ass me. They thought that I had stopped. It was over, I had dropped. Bitch, I had my plans out here. I'm only just at my start. You will have to.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Yo Crypto with Chair and Lake. I am Chair.
I am Lake.
That's Lake over there. You might be asking yourself, wasn't this show called something else before? And the answer is yes. But now, today, here in this country, it is Yo Crypto. I am Chair. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being at Chair's table. If you can like and retweet and share and subscribe.
Yeah.
Some other things. I would
or
appreciate
just one of those is good.
No, the full suite.
Yeah,
I am taking notes.
Yeah.
Co-hosting with me as always is Lake. Hello, Lake. How are you? How is the pupper?
He's good. You know, he was like ignoring me and leaving me alone for the first time in our brief coexistence. But then the cameras turned on and he realized that he needs to bother me as much as possible. So we love it. And we have a name. We had Exclaim as a audience option, and we appreciate that. And that is his nickname. But we went with Alvy. If anyone ever saw Annie Hall, the main character's name is Alvy. And that's one of my favorite movies. And I'm not going to talk about the guy who made it because that's going to lead to a whole different thing, even though he's one of my favorite people ever. And
remind me who made it.
Woody Allen.
Oh,
and that's the name of his character. But you know, like you say that, and all of a sudden
it has to become about the fact that he raised his wife from basically birth. But whatever, dude. I mean, a lot of
16
close relationship with
and I think once we find out about a lot of the people that accuse him, I think of things that he didn't do. He did. Call him a deviant.
What did he not do?
Rape a 7-year-old girl.
Whoa!
Yeah,
I didn't. That was it. Okay.
So, but he did groom a 16-year-old, and he's a gross and
okay.
And
so he's while he has been absolved of the rape.
Yeah.
Allegation.
Well, no. Yeah, that's the thing. He should not have. They discovered it.
Not have done that.
They investigated at the time. He was cleared. You know, his wife Mia Farrow is insane, and so anyway.
Oh, speaking of Mia Farrow, do you know the Ronan Farrow?
Right. So his name used to be Ronan Allen, and Mia Farrow had an affair with Frank Sinatra, and so it's actually Sinatra's kid, and she traded that story for to smear Woody Allen's name about that thing I mentioned earlier. And, you know, believe all women. Yeah, but they cleared him. Anyway, she's insane. She sent him a bunch of dead roses. She also is upset because she was cast in every movie that he did, and she had no career after that. And she slept around. And she had a child that she called Ronan Allen that all of a sudden was Ronan Sinatra, and now is Ronan Farrow. And then he did.
So was it Tim Allen that people thought, like, was the father supposed to be Tim Allen of Home Improvement?
Yeah, Woody Allen, yeah. She married Woody Allen.
Right, Woody Allen. Okay,
right.
And Tim is his cousin, brother.
Another comedian.
Is Tim Allen Jewish?
No. Tim Allen definitely is not. But anyway, my point is, we'll get into later with. I think we'll find that a lot of people that have accused Woody Allen of things are fans of people that are about to go down as well. So at least what he did was gross and deviant, marrying his stepdaughter or adopted daughter. But it's not the worst thing in the world.
It's not what we're going to talk about today,
Yeah.
though it is going to be what we talk about for the next.
And that's what this
minutes.
guy's named after.
So the dog's name is Alvy Exclaim Dog, and he is
Yeah.
the third microphone on the show. The show is now Yo Crypto.
Yeah,
And if
we'll edit out that bit. We'll edit out that beginning for the reviews.
Yes, the editors will be all over it.
Yeah.
Yo Crypto, formerly Have a Take with Sharon Lake, has been chronicling Lake's path into crypto as he begins his journey of setting up wallets, moving funds around, using protocols, having questions, and I'm here to prop him up as best I can, and you all can go along on the journey with
us. And prop safety tips and beware scammers and a lot. But a lot has been going on this week with crypto.
Indeed. Hourly things are happening.
Hourly, weekly. Last time we spoke, which was like 10 days ago, it was a bull market. Are we still in that bull rush?
I would say very much so, yes. Today specifically, as we are live on the 22nd of our Lord's month, July, and our Lord's year.
Yeah, named after Julius Caesar. Yeah.
Interesting.
Augustus, July and August are added months to the 10-month calendar year. From
what's December? Anyway, who's December?
December was the original founding month. But I think they added, I don't remember exactly, it's a Gregorian calendar, blah, blah, but July was added for Julius Caesar, and August was added to Augustus, and so that's why we have 12 months.
As we watch today, the market is just a touch down, but ETH has hit something like 3,800. Bitcoin continues to climb. It went over 120K at one point. It's back down to 119. ETH at 3,700, but a significant pump, 21% up on the week, is ETH.
I saw it. I'm watching all these Netflix crypto stuff to get into it, and also for my future best-selling book that you're helping me with. And it was like in 2017, it was like $300. Is that
which one?
Bitcoin?
ETH. I think it was a touch higher than that. 2016, early 2016, I think it was around.
So you're saying in 9 years it went up $120,000? Is that what's happening?
Yes.
Okay. See, like something like that, like I kind of knew that, but when you put that, that's insane, isn't it? Could anyone have predicted that?
Yes. A lot of people predicted it.
So that much?
Yeah. I mean, even I recall, and maybe it's revisionist, but I recall people predicting these types of numbers and even beyond when it was under 1,000
in less than a decade.
Yeah, luckily this all happened in an era where everything was documented between forums and email lists and videos. So it's a lot of it is referenceable as long as archive.org doesn't delete it or someone deletes it from archive.org.
Or like a file deletes itself, kind of like a main file that people really want to see. And then all of a sudden it's like, don't worry about it.
Just like just a portion of it. Yeah. But the time frames, I don't recall exactly. I remember the calls for $1 million Bitcoin when Bitcoin was sub 1,000. So it's not.
So $1 million coin is on the table still.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I think every percent that's closer towards that mark is the likelier that it will happen. Breaching 100K is huge. Breaching 1,000 was huge. Breaching 100 was huge, and the adoption rate, as we see globally now, is high. There is.
So is this a record high?
It was like when it went over 120. Yeah, this very last peak for Bitcoin is still not a record high for Ethereum or Ether, which is around 45, 46, depending on.
And that's number 2 in value.
That is number 2 in value. It's number 1 in utility, and it was number 1 in my heart.
Yeah.
Still is if I have to choose a network.
The people's coin.
Yeah, it's the World Computer and Database, ain't it? And that was the original and vision for it. It still is. And the fact that you can launch arbitrary programs on it via smart contracts and anyone can interact with them permissionlessly was and is still revolutionary. and is the largest of the type of network that you can do that on, and was founded by some very visionary people, a lot of which, or one of which, doesn't get enough run. And I'll say it now: Texture, Anthony Denorio, I am Texture on Twitter, doesn't get enough run for being a founding member of ETH, and a lot of other people get too much run.
Shout out to Anthony.
Shout out to Texture. He is a good guy, and we'll have him at the table at some point. I hope.
Yeah, I'm just gonna throw it out there. Tony Texture, kind of perfect. Anyway,
and there it is.
So if you are a longtime investor, you're enjoying this market right now in Bitcoin.
I think so. I mean, depending on what you did in the meantime, like, you know, everyone has different situations. So in the dead of the of the down market over the past few years, people had to liquidate, I'm sure, you know, for one reason or another. So it might be quite painful for people that have been holding for a long time because they had to get rid of assets to live.
Yeah.
But overall, like the fact that the system is working in whatever amalgamation that it is right now is important and very noteworthy. And it did what a lot of people are predicting: the entire ecosystem, for better or worse.
So bull market still bulling around, but that is not the only news. So there's something I wanted to ask as the novice, and so you know, I've been the one thing I know about crypto is Satoshi, and he had his what I called the lever finger on the button nuke, like 10,000 coins. That was kind of like dark matter. It felt like in the Bitcoin verse, like it was just there. Is that still the case, or like what happened? I know there was a big transaction of billions of dollars. Can you explain that for the cash?
Indeed,
the cash viewer.
There was Satoshi era Bitcoin, as the article eloquently put it, that was moved very recently, as I pull it up here, billions of dollars. $4.83 billion of Bitcoin was offloaded via centralized exchanges, Galaxy Digital specifically, and I'm referencing Cryptos R_us on Twitter with this story.
Okay.
But a holder who had held since sub $4 Bitcoin liquidated $80,000 worth of, or I'm sorry, 80,000 Bitcoin worth $9.5 billion at an average of $118,000 per Bitcoin. They held for 14 years. And the question is, you know, that's certainly a substantial amount of liquidity. Who is in control of it? Is it the same entity that was in control of it back then? Interesting questions. What might this signal, this type of mega dump?
So there's
they know.
So here are the questions I would ask. One, the biggest one is why now, which I think I have a theory. One is that you said it just hit a record high, so that is the most obvious answer. But I have another theory, maybe why. So we'll get to the why now. But yeah, what is the results and the wave to the market that this caused? This what ripple effect does this have?
I haven't seen a lot of coverage on this, actually. Like I happened to come across it on my timeline, but in terms of what I'm paying attention to, not much other than this one tweet has been said in the midst of the run up. I think it was probably overlooked. If this would have happened in the dead of the bear,
yeah,
it would be the biggest thing anyone was talking about.
How long ago was that? Like a year ago?
Well, I think it was a little bit more than a year ago. If we're looking at just the Bitcoin chart and zooming out just a little bit, if you'll bear with me for a moment.
Nice.
I believe 2 minutes or so, 2 minutes, 2 years ago or so. So let's see. The very dead of the bear in Bitcoin terms was December 15th, 2022, or somewhere thereabouts.
Okay.
Where it hit 16K. Yeah.
So you're saying if it happened in December 2022, it would have had a much bigger effect, or not as big effect?
Absolutely. I mean, number one, there would be less liquidity available to sell into, and so it would have a larger.
Would that have possibly crashed it then? Potentially.
No, I don't think it would have crashed it because I think there's enough BUIDL coins amongst the players that they could cover it, but it would have had a significant price impact. I don't know that it had any price impact necessarily. Well, no, it certainly did, but nothing notable. Also, it depends. Like the lack of coverage is interesting. That's a lot. That's more Bitcoin than I remember. Moving in one move in a long time. So the lack of, and that might speak to the type of entity that is moving it.
So is this? So what I didn't get, because when you're not in the weeds, you kind of take the big. You kind of you grapple to the big kind of like flashy object. The flashy object was Satoshi and his 10,000 coins, correct? And that he could cash out and
100 and something thousand, 80,000. Sorry, 80,000.
That no one knows who Satoshi is, so no one knows who controls those coins.
It wasn't necessarily Satoshi. It was like Satoshi era. So like those tokens were acquired in the era or somewhere around the era that Satoshi was still active.
But I'm saying those Satoshi, those famous coins that he owned. I'm saying not the ones that.
The million plus.
Are they still there?
No. If those would move.
That's what I'm saying. So that's not what we're talking about.
No.
Okay. So yeah. So Satoshi era, meaning this guy held it for basically as long as Satoshi's coins were being held. And so that's what always gets like confusing to me, because to me, like he has this bomb that he can just explode the market. And we'll talk about like Trump coin and all that. And like this kind of feels like an ideal time maybe to fuck around before things get out of control, in terms of get out of his control. But those are still in place, you're saying? And this guy, do we know who this guy is who sold the coins?
Nope. And we don't know. Yeah.
And okay, so we don't know. So to sum up, what do you think? Do you think this will have, on like a scale of 1 to 10, let's say 10 is the fucking Mavericks Half Moon Bay wave, 1 is a little puddle in your backyard. What kind of wave is this? 1 to 10.
It's a 5 for me. It's notable because of the amount and the dormancy of those tokens before this move. Like they didn't move for a long time, and then they were sent to a centralized exchange. Somebody really held past millions into the tens, into the hundreds of millions, into the multiple billions of dollars worth of profit before they moved their tokens, which is like, who can do that? Because originally they bought these tokens at somewhere around 300,000 for 80,000 Bitcoin.
So
flipping that for 9.5 bill.
And then just another technical question. We discussed how Bitcoins are finite. That's not like you can print money, right? Are these 80,000 coins now? I'm saying you can print money. You can't like money is infinite or whatever. It's not like that or whatever. However, I don't want it, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
Are these coins now available to purchase? So isn't that like?
I mean, they're in the possession. They're in the possession of the centralized exchange that like the shareholders of the centralized exchange that off ramp them.
And so they like, can these be mined, or these are now? So these are known entities now.
No, mined Bitcoin refers to new Bitcoin generated by the Bitcoin network that's awarded as a block reward for the miner that is validating that specific block. That reward, the halving was recent. It happened recently, and I think it's like 3 or maybe just under 3 or maybe just over 3. The Bitcoin block reward is now 3.25, something like that. Please correct me where I'm wrong in the comments, folks.
So what can they do? What's going to happen to these coins?
So what's important to note? That's a very interesting question. New Bitcoin is only issued by the Bitcoin network itself to the miner of the current block that's being validated because they solved the algorithm. That is controlled by the Bitcoin source code. The fact that there is a $21 million cap, the fact that there is a block reward, that the block reward is a certain amount, is all determined by the Bitcoin source code, which the miners are running on their machines to validate the network. It's defined in the code. The code is run by the miners, and people use the blockchain, and that's what the law is. Code is law, quote unquote.
Right.
If the Bitcoin core code is changed for whatever reason and by whatever means, and the miners decide to run that code, that is the new law. Even if that law dictates that now you can have 210 million Bitcoins.
Okay, but when you say law, like law, like Congress passes law. What
the law? No, the law of the code.
But who
of the code.
Who could change it? There is no Congress. It's a person. It's a group. It's a society.
The Bitcoin core developer group is primarily in charge, and has
we know who those people are.
I think a lot of them, yes.
Okay.
Probably not all of them.
So it's not like an Illuminati Bitcoin group that's controlling.
I think that probably exists too. Their surrogates are present. Like, but as in all things. But
why can't this decentralized so it has to be Newcoin? Like, why can't he just figuratively bury this fucking 80,000 coins all over the place for it to be mined again? Like, what's stopping people just to mine old coin? But you're just saying that's not how it's done. That's the law.
No, you can't. Yeah, as the law is right now. Now you said you asked who is in control of that Bitcoin now. Centralized exchange allegedly is called Galaxy Digital. Galaxy Digital probably has shareholders, a board, investors. The Bitcoin effectively is in their control now in whatever system that they have set up. For this type of move, I imagine a ton of negotiation and coordination had to happen for the person who moved it to have faith that the centralized exchange can cover that amount, because it's a significant amount. So that would indicate, again, a sophisticated player, if not an experienced player, if not a state level player or otherwise, because how do you,
or one of them?
It takes a lot of coordination. Right.
It could be one of the developers.
Ultimately, it might be. It could be.
So
I think you can track the life of these Bitcoins. Like, they were purchased. I think they were not mined. This wasn't mined Bitcoin. Right. This was Bitcoin that was purchased somewhere, it looks like.
So we'll go down that rabbit hole later. But I'm saying, so what happens with these 80,000 coins? Where are they?
They're in the wallets that are controlled by the centralized exchange.
So why can't I buy them now? Like, why can't they just be on the market?
You can. You sign up at their exchange and you pay their fees, and
so they're available to purchase.
Yeah, I mean, just like the Bitcoin that sits in anybody's wallet is or is not available. It just depends on that person, that entity. It's a centralized exchange. It behooves them to make it available for people, because that's how they continue to make money on.
So I'm saying, since it's a finite number, how does 80,000 more coins hitting the market is that also an effect? Besides, they had to cash out and they covered it, and that was all. They could have crashed it. It didn't. Does that make a difference?
I mean, ultimately, it has an effect. Like any move in the market has an effect on the market. This is a larger, sizable. Like, now Galaxy Digital has more Bitcoin, more power as a result, and whatnot. So definitely, it certainly has an effect on the health of the system. Like, no, it doesn't. It doesn't seem to have an effect, not negatively anyway.
No, I meant on the value, on the market change, on the stuff like that. Like adding 80, that's a lot of coin. Has there ever been more of that coin sold in one large sum before?
I don't. That's a good question, and that would be interesting to look at and chat.
Let's get some people to give us some answers. Yeah.
What is the largest amount of Bitcoin ever offloaded in one time to a centralized exchange? Right now, we're looking
at 80,000. If Grok just says the Jews, then don't believe him.
The Grok is more likely to say that than anything else.
Yeah, him and Elmo. So that happened. Crazy times. So okay, so here's my theory. Are you ready for it?
I'm prepared.
Okay, and I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I really don't believe in like I would say when we have discussions, you're a little more open-minded on possibilities than I am.
Uh-huh.
But like I do also know they're like nefarious actors and there's like crazy shit has happened that you wouldn't believe. Like I'm watching this octopus murders thing on Netflix and like that's insane. And like even if you just do the Iran Contra of the 80s, that's insane. Like flooding the market with crack to give fucking like anti-communist governments weapons. Yeah, and like cause how much damage that's caused for no reason, and then like Ronald Reagan might have been demented and not even know it happened. Like that's crazy as shit. Like you could not write that up. So and that's just like one thing, and that was at the highest levels of government, and no one got in trouble for it. I mean, Oliver North, whatever, he's on Fox News now. So that's my example of like because Iran Contra, like it took me so long to understand. Like I had to watch Snowfall to finally understand it. Great show. So having said that, like I also don't think like there's just this one prevailing controlling power. I don't think that everything is interrelated and like there's this group just like, you know, like as like so also that, but also now I know like power's being consolidated. The Billionaire Boys Club is like really controlling things. I don't think they're in congruence as much as we think, but they're definitely having backroom discussions. Governments are being affected, and so I understand. I'm also acknowledge that not everything is known, and that people make crazy decisions, and things have a domino effect. So here's my domino effect. What is the biggest news what's the biggest news of the day for the last few weeks? Is the Epstein file. Now, let's move past that. Trump used the Epstein file to attack Clinton, to attack Gates and all these leftists, power players. And meanwhile, Epstein said he's his best friend. There's videos of them dancing together. You know, and then Trump's so sad, never met him and stuff, crazy shit like that, which is just an insane thing to say for him. But like, so this whole thing like is a right-wing obsession, a conspiracy theory. It's been on 4chan, and it's like the main one. And then of course he kills himself after he gets caught, after he fails the first time. This is all during Trump's first term. Okay.
Right.
I don't think he was murdered, but I definitely think they were like, yo, you should kill yourself, and here's how you do it, because how do you do it twice? You know? Okay. That would be my explanation. And then if Trump, of course, blames the Democrats for allowing something to happen when he was in federal prison. Okay. Moving that aside, the fact is that, intentionally or not, Trump made a big deal about this Epstein thing. And what he was not able to control was, he thought because when he said it's time to move on, all his followers would move on, because usually that's how it goes. But they didn't this time, because they actually give a shit about this. And I used to think that it was like, okay, Epstein Island, you had princes, you had politicians, you had Bill Gates, but like, who cares? Like, not who cares, like those guys should go to jail and they're disgusting and horrible, but like, why should I be so obsessed with it? Why are people? But two things happened this week: the $4 billion dump of Bitcoin by an anonymous person, and Paramount firing Stephen Colbert as he was shitting on his Paramount for making a deal with Trump in the first place to appease him, a $60 million settlement on something that was ridiculous, in my opinion. And then also he was always talking about Epstein. What else is happening? Why would Paramount care about what Trump thinks when we have
Colbert was talking about Epstein?
Yeah, he was starting to talk about Epstein and stuff. And
interesting.
So what happens? You know, why would that matter to when we have a First Amendment and we have a separation of media and government and all that? Well, there's a merger between Paramount and Sky, whatever, forget. I'll look that up in a second. And I feel that everyone has an idea that this Epstein thing is going to cause the downfall to maybe Trump or Trump's power. and everyone's trying to cash in and get their nut. Epstein was in finance, correct? He must have known some players that are in the Bitcoin area. He must have known players all over the place. And then he's also political. He's also, because he has all these people coming to his island, maybe Bill Clinton, maybe Trump. They were friends. These are presidents of the United States. He has Bill Gates, at one time the richest person in the world. He has a prince coming. And he's also involved. So he has politics, money, and then celebrities. If you're Paramount, you want to get this merger done with Trump's approval because it might be shady, it might be a deal of a lifetime, and if Trump says get rid of Colbert because I want this Epstein stuff done, he makes fun of me. Not only is that a huge constitutional crisis of the First Amendment, it would make sense that they would just do it hastily, cancel the Late Show, which went back to Letterman since the 90s, and just end it. Maybe in the finance world, this guy saw, whoever cashed out those $4 billion saw, oh shit, I might get caught up in this Epstein thing, or I need Trump's coins coming in, or whatever, and he wants to cash in his nut. And so someone that's not a conspiracy theorist, as I am, looks at this and sees these moves being made by completely like what I would say not like connected, seemingly, and you have to wonder: is this Epstein character? Was he not at the epicenter? What does he know? What are those files? Oh, and then you have Trump just trying to bury the files when he said he was in touch. So you have the political, the finance, and the celebrity with Colbert all intertwined, all being affected, all in the same fucking week. So I know there's no separation technically, but there's free speech. But yeah, thank you. So
a comment from Mandrake.
Well, there is the First Amendment, and if you know the First Amendment, the government cannot shut down, cannot take away your free speech. And so, if a media figure is saying that, talking about Epstein and Trump says, "Get this guy off, or I'm not going to approve your merger," that's a First Amendment violation, even if it's a private company. However,
correct me if I'm wrong. Just to tug on this for a second. Under Obama, was something passed where the government was like legally allowed to spread propaganda? There's a more eloquent way to say it, but there was something under Obama, and I recall him specifically calling it out and being that he was sort of like sad about it that it happened.
I will take back that there's nothing in the Constitution saying there's a separation between the newspaper and media personalities and the government. Fair enough, but it is supposedly the fourth wing, the fourth checks and balance. There is a free speech, and the whole idea of free speech and what separates the free speech us from fascist dictatorships are the fact that you can criticize the government and not get thrown in jail and not get Navalny'd and not get fucking killed. And you have the right to criticize. And if you have someone putting their thumb on the ledger saying, I'm not going to use my presidential power to approve a merger unless you fire this guy who I don't like his speech, then that is a violation of his First Amendment rights. That is a violation of the First Amendment by the president. And so you could say, brother, there's no separation between media and thing. It sounds smart. I had this argument all the time because it's a private company. They can do what they want. But if the president of the United States uses his powers of his office to shut down someone and get them fired to reward a company or bribe a company in that way, then that's a violation. So that there is a separation that he's trampling on. He also sued the Wall Street Journal and told them not to print something. That is ridiculous for a president to do. So we're just like, you could say like it's a private company. It's like all of a sudden, when it was like COVID, they're shutting down suppression of speech. You're not allowed to and they were like, you cannot tell me what to do and have these people print about China and all these things. That was a violation of the First Amendment. But all of a sudden, Colbert getting fired for a potential merger to go through by his parent company, that's okay. Anyway, so it's a violation. If Trump leveraged the merger to get rid of Colbert, it's a clear First Amendment violation.
So your conspiracy theory is...
Mike, so getting back on that, brother, is... Paramount, this guy who cashed out the Bitcoin. There's Epstein files being buried. Everyone is seeing. Everyone that might have been implicated or might think that Trump is completely implicated and it's going to go down want their nut before the ship goes down, and something is about to happen, and it's the other shoe. Okay. The other shoe's about to drop, and I think like everyone that knows about it is doing something about it. And how do they know about it? Well, they're either intimately involved, they have some insider information, or they understand that, like what we all do, that Trump and Epstein have a very close relationship or had one, and that he might be going down like this. As someone who thinks that Trump is Teflon Don, these are headwinds that I would
there
say
can only be one, and that man died in prison in the 90s.
Well, apparently, according to Trump, just laying gas, and he said like,
no, I'm talking about John Gotti, the real Teflon Don.
Yeah, well, literally the Teflon Don on this guy, but he kind of runs it like a Don of a. But anyway, my point is this: things are about the other shoe's about to drop. Trump is freaking out. Trump is losing. He's calling past supporters. By the way, he said that Max Lane Giswell, whatever, the best friend of Epstein, who's in jail for 20 years, he said he felt sorry for her when he just a few years ago that he went in jail. So like he knows these people, he's friends with these people.
I love quoting that specifically, and I believe if I remember correctly, his words were, "I wish her the best."
Yeah, I wish her the best. So why do you wish someone? So either she's in jail for no reason, or he wishes her the best. Who cares? The point is, because Epstein thinks it's not going away. He's not handled it well. He's going to have to fire people. He's going to have to release them. Today, the House Speaker shut down the vote and went on early vacation, so they would not have to vote to release the files. So they're using every shield or protection to protect Donald Trump, who's the only reason that we're talking about this is because he kind of made it a big deal. It's so self-inflicted, and now he's firing Colbert. He's fired. Like if he was involved, which I strongly suggest, I think he did. He's actually bragging about it, how he got him fired, kind of. I'm just saying there's more to come, and the fallout is huge. And
so your conspiracy theory, if I can surmise correctly, is the shoe is going to drop, and there is more to come,
and that there's people are cashing out right now. This is a cash out, and like emergency, like pack up, get your passport, and liquidate everything. That's what they're doing. And why would they do that? Because they know that the fucking storm's about to hit. And how do they know that? Because they either they saw it, they were there on Epstein Island or these parties, or they know about it, and they know it's true, and they know what's on the file, or they just are very, I guess they could just feel that it's a bad news bears or something. But, we don't know who these people are, who cashed out those coins. We don't know their relation. Epstein was in finance. Well, I'm just saying
we don't know who they are.
No, but I'm saying what if he is someone that was very close with Epstein as well, like Trump was, and stuff. So we don't know. My point is to have something the late night being canceled is a huge deal. It came out of nowhere. The $4 billion sell seemingly came out of nowhere. So, connect the dots. The Epstein file being buried was random. We never thought that Trump was going to do that either after all his stuff. So I don't know. That's my conspiracy, that they're all connected somehow, and we will find out in years from now. But the only person that really knows is this Maxwell, and she might find out herself like how Epstein did if she's not careful.
I think as you lay it out, I think it's certainly a possibility. And the fun part about this one is we'll never know the identity of that person if they don't want us to know. But with the rhetoric recently and currently on all things Epstein, my prediction, and I mean, I do. It certainly feels like something is going to happen. But I recall a time recently, in the recent past few years, half decade, where there was another group of people that were very sure that the shoe was about to drop for something, and that there was all sorts of things happening in the background that we couldn't see, and there were warrants, there were sealed indictments, thousands of them, and the like. So, but I lately betting on nothing ever happens.
What are you referencing? You're just saying like in general.
Just the in 2020, like let's just say in 2020 and like leading into 2020. In fact, like at the start of Trump's presidency, an online movement began, and people that gained a lot of fervent new following during the COVID era. And there was a whole group of people that were convinced that something was about to happen.
Oh yeah.
Good guy generals in control, right? And it's all about to happen. And a lot of shit actually did fucking happen, didn't it? But my point is that like, or I guess what I'm getting, like, this is not an original take. I just
no, it's conspiratorial.
Kind of parroting the war mode boys on this, in that I have a feeling that similar to nothing ever happening with anything, really.
Yeah.
Nothing will happen with this. Same as the.
When you say nothing's happened, I'm saying things are already happening. If you're saying like, is Trump going to get impeached? No, I don't think he's going to.
He's already been impeached like 3 times, hasn't he? Like
twice. Yeah.
Like,
no, I don't think he's going to.
What is impeached going to do?
I don't think he's going to lose his if the files. First of all, the files never come out. That's kind of crazy, right? So like, we'll have to see what happens with that.
I mean, if they even ever exist in the first place, like, it's interesting. Like, as soon as
there's no list, but there is a file. There is a file.
Apparently, it's a deposition.
Pam Bondi said she had it on her desk and she's looking at it right now, and then it disappeared.
Yeah. But I don't. I think this will conveniently go away the same way everything conveniently goes away, that people are really interested in, unfortunately. But
I think I think yes, it'll go away in the sense of like the news cycle will move on, President Trump will finish his term, there won't be like mass hysteria, people won't be going to jail, and there won't be like those kind of consequences. But I do feel that we've already kind of seen some things that have been like never happened before. The $4 billion dump on Bitcoin, Colbert getting fired, not only fired, the late shows getting completely dismissed and never coming back. So those things happen within the week.
Colbert's such a hard guy to feel sorry for,
But I'm just saying, like, yeah. Well, the thing is,
you can't be as smug as he is and then expect people to feel too sorry for you.
Well, it's not about that. This is like I've been arguing on I had to get off it, but I was arguing on social media. It's like, just because you don't like Trump, or just because you don't like Colbert and you love Trump, does not mean you should be happy that he's leveraging his power to get someone fired, or using his presidential powers to sign off on mergers. As long as, what if he did that to Joe Rogan? What if he did that to someone else?
I wish someone would.
I mean, yeah, me too. But then I would also be worried. Like, I don't like Joe Rogan. I like, so
I just feel like they've bastardized what once was something great.
Yeah, no, like I would be happy. Like I wish Obama now would do it. Like if the next Obama.
Back to talk about DMT and fucking porn.
But my point is,
politics.
Why does he want everyone quiet about it? Why are these moves happening? And I think it's in preparation for like either. If his popularity diminishes, if Congress turns on him, like a lot of things that are being passed on Congress are just because Trump wants it. These senators that passed this big, beautiful bill, they don't want it. They're actually passing bills to hedge their bet on there and like to stop like some of the things that the bill that they voted for. So that people are realized like, even if he's not kicked out of office, how is this going to hurt him politically? Or are people that are going to be mentioned later if these reports do come out? And in case they come out, hey, let's cash out. Let's get this merger done. Let's get everything done now. And like, I think that's because they know how bad that fucking file is and who's on it.
I wish everyone the best. I really do. I think,
but not Colbert.
Either way, it's already super spicy. And
you don't wish Colbert the best.
I mean, I think he'll be just fine.
I loved his Comedy Central show. That was great when he pretended to be like a right wing.
Was I liked about tell you exactly where he lost me. Not that I'm an O'Reilly guy, that I'm or I am or was an O'Reilly guy, but my parents were O'Reilly guys.
Yeah.
And when Colbert had O'Reilly, they did a double, like
Yeah.
Colbert went on O'Reilly.
He pretended to be
went on
O'Reilly.
Colbert. Yeah, that was the archetype.
Yeah.
But what I didn't appreciate, and I think I was still in high school. We were still in high school when this was happening.
That was the Daily Show.
The way he did O'Reilly dirty was, if you can go back, I'm sure there's he came on O'Reilly's show. Like the respect wasn't going both ways, whereas like O'Reilly was.
But why did O'Reilly do that? This guy's making fun of him every day. Colbert's making fun of him every day. Like
he had the ball, and he had the balls to go on his show. And
he had the ball. He wanted to be relevant. You know, he wanted that rating.
No, I'm giving Colbert credit on that. But the way that he did, like, he's kind of like he was fucking with O'Reilly in a way that was like.
Well, he's much smarter than O'Reilly, but like, weird. But also sure. One of my favorite things that Colbert did was, you know, they had the presidential, which Trump canceled, but they had the presidential thing where like the reporters came, like the dinner. And they would always have like a speaker, a comedian, and the Bush administration asked Colbert to speak because they thought he was genuine in his love for Bush, and he just fucking roasted him in front of everyone for 10 minutes, and that guy has fucking cojones to do that.
I trapped my cat inside the room here, so give me just one moment. Vamp.
Oh, it's an animal-friendly show. So, but anyways, thank you, Mandrake, for that. You're right. There was no distinction, like separation of powers and checks and balances with the press. But free speech does protect the press. The reason why America has been great is because the press is supposed to be another checks and balance, the unofficial fourth branch or whatever they call it. And Trump has trampled that with the Wall Street Journal, with getting to Bezos and the LA Times people. And if he's mocking Colbert for being fired based on leverage that he used as the president, it's not just some civilian. And so when people say, because the main argument with this was, it's a private business and a private business can do whatever they want and they can fire people and the government can't tell them. It's like, that's fine. But if it's part of a bribe by the government to get rid of someone's because they don't like what he says, that is a violation of free speech. That is a violation of a free press. And it's just absurd.
Do you still have faith in any part of any government to have best interest of anyone other than themselves?
Yeah, I mean, well, that's the thing. Like, it's like
which one and which part?
Well, that's like where we get to the value. It's like everyone's the same. Everyone's like, yes, if you go to a certain like bird's eye view, there's all corruption, there's all cronyism, there's all favors. I mean, that's politics. The part of the reason I like love politics, and I used to be really into politics, was the backroom deals and stuff. Like, I like that. I like because that is very human. Like, I'll help you, you help me. You know, capitalism, greed. Like, the reason people say capitalism works is because it like feeds into the human like trait of greed, and like, you know, the rest are kind of like trying to suppress it. And so I kind of like that like whole idea of it, even if it's wrong and corrupt sometimes. But it's like don't let the perfect be the enemy of the good. And so I thought, you know, and there were presidents and senators and other people that had the best interest of themselves and country. And now across the world, it's just whatever you could get for yourself. And like, people not only like it, they like aspire. Like, they aspire to be Elon Musk. They aspire to be Jeff Bezos. And I'm like, these guys are like miserable sons of bitches. Like, they're just not happy. Why would you want that? Why would you want them in control? When they make money, do you think when they go to space, does that like put bread on your table? I don't understand this obsession.
Yo, Justin Sun is going to space. Did you hear about this?
No.
Justin Sun, the founder of the Tron blockchain, is going up in the next Blue Origin flight, similar to Katy Perry and Oprah's friend.
Right. So Katy Perry almost died on her concert. She almost like fell from something.
And did they cancel the tour as a result?
No, I mean, Katy Perry, Russell Brand couldn't get her canceled, so she's good. She used to be married to Russell Brand, who's accused of.
I wish them both the best.
Yeah. So anyway, that's my deep dive into what I think will happen. And I think more things will happen. I think you'll see more rich people kind of cash out. By the way, like we forget, Elon Musk kind of brought this whole thing out when he like left Trump. He was like, Trump's on the
I think it's interesting that part. But see, and okay, so this is my personal like unprovable take. The fact that Musk conveniently exited the administration or whatever, and with a lot of attention, dropped the mic with the Trump is in the Epstein files.
Yeah.
Started the all of this, and then has been largely out of the narrative since then, while everyone is focused on this part. What are we not talking about? What are we not talking about right now? Whatever the fuck happened with Doge, the fact that the AI facial recognition AI stuff passed and is like,
he sold his company.
We've gone completely China mode.
Also, like all these like things about how Twitter is like with their politically motivated bots and their
what about the ICE raids? What about the ICE raids that we're not talking about anymore, or the quote-unquote civil unrest that was happening different? All of these have now been wiped out, including, remember Ukraine, Russia? Remember Israel, Palestine?
Yeah.
No. Epstein. That's all they want us to focus on.
But actually,
make me want to say, what the fuck are we not?
Trump is the master of like the distraction, and this time the distraction is the one he's trying to distract people from. Like he would love for people to talk about the ICE raids now. He would love people to criticize the terrorists.
What if he would love us to be talking, or they or he would
right?
Love
well,
us
I'm saying
exactly what we are talking about. I'm saying that this is the desired focus from all sides, including
No, I don't think that's my point. I think they see a vulnerability in Trump and they're cashing out because they can't trust them to pass the legislation, to get them the tax cuts, and they're going to get his nut because they see that he's floundering.
All the crypto stuff passed last week. All of the stuff, all of the crypto, the Genius Act, that all passed last week.
Because he has the mojo to get it done now. Maybe he won't after this Epstein thing. Maybe more shit's going to hit the fan and the other shoe's going to drop. And so people are like, I got to get my nut now. I got to cash in my favors, cash in my chips before the casino eats all my money. And they're saying exactly what you said. For the first time, Trump is not leading the conversation. He's not leading the distraction. He is the distraction, and he's the most vulnerable I've seen. Now, like I said, like he is Teflon Don, and he gets 4 indictments while he's not president. They all go away. Now he's president again, and so I wouldn't I'm not counting him out. I'm not saying he's destined to have kicked out of office, go to jail, all that shit. I'm done with that. I think he'll be fine in that sense, but. Can he control? He is bullying the Republicans to pass everything he wants. He has billionaires not commenting on his tariffs that are affecting their money. Like he has such a hold over Congress and Wall Street, and now he's dumping his coin, which we'll talk about in a second. So, yeah, you're right. Why aren't we talking about all these things? How can Trump? Why Trump is like saying move on? He literally said move on, and we shouldn't talk about this, and we're still talking about it. That is a weakness. I don't think.
I don't know. Honestly, dude, I'm so fucking bored with this. I can't. like the Trump stuff. I can't anymore.
What about his coin?
Yeah. His coin unlocks like some percentage, sub 1% of it, but like something like $50 million worth of on-chain value will be unlocked to whoever it was vesting for. Along with some other notable ones, but the Trump dump it will be interesting. I'm sure people will be covering it, how much of that gets dumped immediately. And I think that might have even happened today and as we speak.
Another cash out.
I have the chart right here. It's right here. The chart is right here. It's not there. Hold on. I know I had it. There it is. Okay. There are, by the way, Solana, 0.1% of the Solana total supply gets unlocked this week. 1.67% of Trump token gets unlocked this week.
Dude, you have your cat. Maybe your instincts are better than your cat. That was like crazy. Like your instincts were just on there. Your reflex.
Yeah, there was a loud bang as the door slammed.
So when you say Trump dump, like a pump and dump, or just he's just dropping his coins?
Oh, I don't know. They are unlocked to whoever those tokens were vesting for. So as that
is that like going public?
No, it's like, for instance, you're working at a company and you have stock, but that unlocks over periods of time over a few years. Similarly, that is happening for whoever those Trump tokens are vesting for. I'm honestly not sure, but I think whoever the early investors were probably. So a percent, this typically happens. 1% is a lot. Like 1% of any token supply is a significant percentage and has a significant impact. And you can expect most tokens that are unlocked during a vesting unlock to be dumped. So you can expect 1.6 or somewhere thereabouts percent of Trump token to be sold, and that will have a significant price impact. So that's probably the most interesting thing to monitor, other than the price of Bitcoin and ETH this week, is what will happen with that dump, and what might that. I mean, it's not a nuclear bomb of an unlock, but it can certainly wreck a lot of people that were bullish on Trump, have been buying for the past few months, and then just get shat on right now.
Yeah,
this week.
I mean, the timing is interesting, I'll say. So we had all that. We had a crazy week, and this is what happens when you don't release the file. That everyone just kind of speculates. So hopefully that will end at some point. And anything else in the Bitcoin recap of the week?
Well, I'm sure there are things happening.
Well, we were talking about whenever it was our last show, about, which was interesting. We were going to talk more about it, but we were saying, how do you safeguard against the pariahs and the whales and sharks that might take over Bitcoin? And we were saying there's anonymity and all these. There was like 4 tenets. Do you remember what those tenets were?
Permissionlessness, anonymity. Anonymity is it's one of the tenets, but it's the hardest one to achieve. Decentralization, permissionlessness, self-custody,
yeah.
privacy.
So we said that, and then we kind of jumped on this thing where we said the most secure way, or the best security, was the fact that it was decentralized, or the decentralization nature of it.
Right. Yeah. It's the only thing that, like, ensuring there's a popular term that I've heard too much in recent years, and that, like, sufficiently decentralized, which is a claim usually made by corporate networks and entities. Like, we have a sufficiently decentralized network, which means, like, there's a lot of nodes.
Which is almost like an oxymoron.
Actual decentralization of those nodes, like who's in actual control of those nodes, is in question. So networks, like the most decentralized networks, are Bitcoin and Ethereum. The nature of their architecture is such as that as you try to attack it, it just emboldens the previous holders. Like, the people that are holding stand to gain the most when someone attacks the network in terms of trying to acquire a majority of the tokens or the majority of the hash power. The hash power part, I think, is what the corporate and big state actor entities are going for. There have been some interesting buys, and I don't have a reference on this because it's just sticking out of my memory.
And when you're saying that, that's government and like Wall Street?
I would say like corporate. So it was today, actually. There's some large American financial entity that bought like a very exact amount of Ether that would cover something like 2,700 ETH validators, where each validator requires 32 ETH to stake in order to be a validator. So they bought 27,000 or 2,700 validators worth of ETH, 2,700 times 32 times whatever the price of Ether is. A lot. And that's just one entity. That is what people are doing, or entities are doing. It's to control the consensus.
And just to keep the jargon intact, like that essentially centralizes it in a way.
Correct. It
And
centralizes it under fewer. It brings it. Maybe it doesn't centralize it. Maybe it doesn't completely centralize it, but
Right.
it brings the control and the power under fewer actors, and that's where the problem lies. But
so how can you? Well, one, should you prevent it, or how should it be prevented, and how can you do it?
It can be prevented, or at least staved for now, by everyone running their own Bitcoin node. You don't have to even be participating necessarily in the mining pool, but just having a record of participating in the validating of the transactions on chain will make it harder for people to fuck around.
Why?
Because if somebody controls a subset of nodes that can coordinate together to validate invalid transactions, that's what breaks everything, or that's what fucks everything up.
But how does just just like doing it for the sake of doing it help prevent that? Or how is that a counter?
So if entity that controls thousands of Bitcoin nodes, let's say, fucks around, let's say they win a block and issue all these improper balances or improper transactions to boost the balances of addresses they control, and they control enough nodes around them so that their node does all of the validating, communicates to the nodes nearest to it, and they validate invalid transactions. And if it could propagate a few levels, it starts to fuck things up. Ultimately, though, what happens is, as more and more nodes that are honest nodes invalidate those transactions or those entire blocks, the chain is rolled back to the block that everyone agrees on. So
you're creating a record. In a sense.
It's referencing the record. So you're keeping another archive.
Yeah.
It's an archival node. Basically, it's another. So like imagine, the same reason. Like imagine if the Library of Alexandria was decentralized and everybody had a copy of it on their machine, then we would have never lost it. It's the same. Like that's oversimplified.
Yeah.
But
it's like a check.
And it doesn't cost much to just run you just need enough storage to back up the entire history of the network.
But do you think we used to have, or I guess we still do, we used to enforce monopoly laws, like Microsoft famously had to break up. Do you think at any point that should be applied to the Bitcoin sphere or cryptocurrency to keep it decentralized, or you just have to let it play out and hope for the best?
I mean, is the United States gonna enforce that on?
No, I don't know. Well, you said there's people like, you could they can mess, like there was that Bitcoin wars where there was like the finite.
Oh, yeah.
And there's stuff that they can do to dissuade or prevent that. Like, should they do
it's really simple. They will. It's coming. It already happened with the block size wars.
But do you think that it should kind of go against the market a bit and kind of control the levers to make sure that the purity and the decentralization factors are kept in place? Or are they overstepping?
What should go? Do
you think that they should do something about it to make sure that it stays decentralized? Whoever's controlling the Bitcoins, or like people in power that can make a difference. Do you think they
people in power, the most powerful people in any network and Bitcoin are the miners, because they're the ones who choose which version of software to run. So they are the most powerful. They can be manipulated in a number of ways. It's mostly psychological and it's not bullying, but It's influenced through rhetoric, through public rhetoric and discourse, and otherwise, because there's big entities, like there's individual miners, but then there's like large mining pools
Yeah.
that take the resources of everyone that's contributing to their pool. So like whoever's controlling that pool, or the people in control of those pools. So the miners are the most important.
They're going to
The second most important are the coders, or the engineers who write the code. So at the final and the last decision, like the ultimate decision, it's with the miner themselves and what version of the code are they going to run. The second is the developers that write a version of the code that's either adheres ideologically or doesn't, or fucks it or doesn't. It's like that's the second layer. The third layer, the third layer is the public discourse, like the swaying of the minds and
the influencers.
The influencers, but it's not like in the sense of social media. The influencers are the most active in
like the people like that Trump had at Mar-a-Lago, those 22.
No, fuck no. Nobody that Trump had at the Mar-a-Lago thing have any actual influence on what happens with the Bitcoin Core protocol. Zero.
No, but they. So I'm saying, do they have any power in their influence to do that?
The way they don't have power, but they're a tool. They will spread whatever message and whatever rhetoric, and they'll form two sides and control both of them.
Right?
Blah, blah,
isn't
blah.
that
they will use those?
Isn't that of material? Isn't that something of consequence?
Yes, but it's not. It still lies like where the ultimate ethical decision happens at the developer and the miner level. Otherwise, then it's like the public swaying. We'll see. Like we'll see how like the public didn't. What happened. So this was the public had no fucking sway on the ultimate decision of small block, big block,
right?
Bitcoin Cash rate, zero. What they did have an effect on was people like Roger Ver, who was vilified and villainized and who now sits in prison in Spain, fighting extradition to the United States on some shit. That free Roger Ver. He was villainized because of the position that he took.
Yeah,
and very unjustly. And I fell for it. I really didn't know no better. A lot of people were talking shit about Roger Ver. There were endless Reddit posts and Twitter threads about.
But you're saying he got. Well, I don't know anything about it, so but like, I guess my point is hypothetically, like you said that these people had to approve the 80,000 coin sale or the $4 billion. Hypothetically, do you think that that if you can prevent, or should people that have the means to centralize Bitcoin and buy large sums, like this guy you just did, this finance thing you just mentioned, this financial institution that bought a bunch, do you think that if they can be prevented, that people should take action, or people of power should constrain them from doing so, or that's against the ethos of this like free market?
Permissionless, man. If you can and you want to, nobody can stop you.
So if I'm saying, but do you think that they should be if it risks the decentralization? Which it seems like might happen. That's what I'm asking. It's like it's hypothetical, but it might be a real life situation sooner than later.
It's a good question. I don't know if I have been like intuitively. I just don't see. I think that's a good question. It's a good question that I don't have an answer to.
Good. Maybe someone else. Maybe we can throw it out to the audience and see, like, what is, because at some point.
But no, I do not think any entity. No, I have an answer. No. Good. Ultimately, it should be a group decision that is decentralized in nature, where a group of developers comes together on a decision, or a specific version of the code is chosen as the preferred version, and the miners decide that yes, in fact, that is the preferred version. And if there's a group that decides that it isn't, they are free to use their own version of the preferred version, and that will have, and the chain will fork. And I think that's the way I should say it now. If there are government level players that are coming and doing this, which I think there have been the entire time, then
that's what I'm saying. They're
it should continue this way.
Yeah. So I'm just saying, I guess, like at some point, to counter the nefariousness, do you put in rules that kind of go against the free market permissionless list to keep the things intact from these nefarious actors? That's like more of a moral dilemma and stuff. But I think that might be something that people need to start considering. Maybe not. But like like America, to keep capitalism alive, supposedly there was no such thing as monopolies. Now, has that been enforced well? Has there been, nefarious actors kind of combining the guy, just this low example, the guy who created Backstreet Boys created NSYNC also, right, to compete against each other. So that could happen also. But like, or do you just like, if that's how it goes, that's how it goes? And so that's the, I mean, that's just a hypothetical question. But like sometimes I feel like, how do you keep it decentralized? How do you keep it the core values of what the cyberpunks? Is that important? Do you just like it is what it is?
So that I think those core values are what have allowed
right. So what
the system to continue up to the point.
So what means will you keep that intact? I guess is the question.
As like every decision needs to be held up against those values, and the laws are kind of like, I don't know, China famously bans and then unbans crypto and Bitcoin like all the time, depending on like whatever use it has for them.
And I'm saying like,
governments like the United States never explicitly, but they just made it really difficult for anyone to operate as a business or an entity. And like,
well,
they never explicitly banned it.
Didn't the U.S. try to like kill it like in 2010, 2009? Like called it like.
What do you mean? Like,
I thought there was like an action where they tried to like say like you cannot like use it in like as certain economy or currency, and like they kind of try to diminish it to non-existence.
They might have.
It was one of these Netflix movies I saw. So anyway, things to think about. I do think, how do you keep it decentralized? I think you're onto something when you said that is the most organic way to keep it secure from being taken over or to be used in improper or not in the spirit of it's intended, how it's intended to be used. With all those other tenants, how do you keep that and then also grow and expand and let it be like a free market? And these are tough decisions, and like there's no real decision maker, as you're pointing out, but we'll see. I hope it could stay within the community and like you said, and like hopefully the miners don't unionize or something eventually.
They don't need to, like whatever decision they make is the decision. But it's interesting. Like the band has gotten it's no longer an indie band playing small
that's what I'm
shows,
saying.
and it's a stadium now, and everything that goes along with that, like the band that you know and love is no more, and it's both good and bad. But like ultimately, the power that like Bitcoin may stick around forever and may not. But
what's the fear? What's the fear when the band gets big? It's that they sell out.
That they
become sellouts, and they don't adhere to what got them there in the first place, and they become something else entirely. And like, correct. I feel like you're the one that's like you're trying to keep the indie band spirit. And
I would like what I would like I just want more indie bands to be able to come up. Like, it's not necessarily like if Bitcoin is still rigid enough, and this, the consensus of the people and the way things have played out has not fundamentally changed. Well, I don't know, block size wars maybe, but like the big indicator will be the supply. If the supply rate or the total supply cap ever increases, then what I have been like, that is the indicator. Because it was originally designed never to do so, and it was designed to maintain its value beyond Bitcoin, or beyond block rewards for the miners after 2040. That's when those end. It was designed that way to leave enough time for the developers to figure out how this is going to work going forward. One of the arguments of the block size war was transaction fees, that once there are priority fees, more specifically, because once there are no more block rewards, what is the incentive for anyone to continue mining blocks? Well, that incentive would be to get the transaction fees and the priority fees that would be available. That was struck down. So, and I think that was struck down. The solution still is, it needs to be figured out. And a supply cap increase, to me, is not the solution, but I am not nearly qualified.
No, but I'm
technically
saying
to
like these are
make
the
a
kind
call
of
on that.
yeah, but these I think that was what I was getting at. Like, what are the levers? Should they be mandated? I guess is really what I'm saying. You said it was struck down, so I'm just saying like, but yeah,
It was struck down in that the miners did not adopt that
yeah,
version of the code. There
right.
were enough devs that supported, and actually, it was a majority of the miners. Is the thing? It wasn't that there weren't miners. It's just that a majority of the network miners
Right.
didn't go along with it. So, yeah.
So, well, David Bowie on one of my favorite albums is Ziggy Stardust, The Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust. His first song is 5 years, and it's basically they said you have 5 years left on Earth, and so for this version we could say 15 years till 2040, and
Basically.
And the countdown begins.
I hope we'll still be around to see it.
Well, if not, we can transport our memories and soul into a chip and put it into a robot.
Not doing that. Not doing that, bro. Keep that cord away from me. I'm going in the dirt. It's been a pleasure, Flake, as always. Everyone go to Amazon right now, type in Tailored in Blood as you see it above Lake's head right there. Volume 2, Morning Mist. You will find all of Lake's material that is Tailored in Blood. The third part of the series is under construction now.
Yeah.
In development. Please share the show wherever you might be watching it, and we appreciate you tuning in. Anything in parting for the people, Lake?
No, I mean, I got my conspiracy theory off my chest. I don't think I'll be doing that again anytime soon, but it was nice to go down a rabbit hole as someone who's usually doesn't do that. And I appreciate Mandrake's correction. I did misspeak, and I love our audience. They are handsome and gorgeous and incredibly intelligent. And so I look forward to being on air next time for them as well. And thank you, Chair. And this is Alvy also signing off.
Thank you, Alvy. Thank you, Lake. Thank you, everyone. I'll leave you with a tasty tune. And until next time, this has been Yo.
Crypto.
I tag your mom, I'm your store, bags of pork, you're a dork. I tag your mom, I'm your store, bags of pork, you're a dork.